It is my belief that when you have experienced trauma, especially when you internalize it, I guess often when you externalize it as well, that the hardest person to be a sister to is the woman we were yesterday, the woman we were at our lowest, the woman we
Hmm.
were when we were making the mistakes. I like to call it Eve behavior, when
Yes.
we knew better but didn't do better. And often we do try to achieve our way out of it or ignore it, pretend it all together. How do we reclaim unity within ourselves by becoming a sister to the darkest version, most angry, most bitter version of who we are?
Oh, that is such a dynamic question. A lot of times when I'm working with my clients, what I'll do is I will take them back to their 7-year-old self or their 13-year-old self or their 20-some-year-old self. And I will ask them to look around the room. A lot of times they say there's a domestic violence or something like that, or things are happening. And I'll say, look at your 7-year-old self. What is she thinking? They're not in tune with their 7-year-old self because they're so busy looking externally. Because other people have forgotten to scan them,
Mm,
they have forgotten to scan themselves because it has been normalized to dismiss how you're feeling about me knocking your mother up against the head or somebody shooting your brother. Because we've become that child was conditioned to just get up and keep moving. They forgot to stop and look at themselves. And I will make them go back and say, "What? Look at her eyes. What does she need you to do?" And
mm,
I need you to walk into the room and talk to your 13-year-old self or talk to your 7-year-old self and tell her what she needs to hear. And I'll make them get down and hold her and tell her they love her. And a lot of times that does bring you to tears because you have gotten so used to how people treated her and how you saw her. You've got to look at her different because let me tell you something. If you didn't have your 13-year-old self, you would not be here today.
yeah.
Those ladies who show up, they say, you offer hope because you were them. You understood. You understand their pain. You understand their traumas. And so if it wasn't for her, if it wasn't for her understanding certain things, you would never, and your ability to not pretend did never exist,
Yeah.
then you'd never be who you are on this stage. It was her who got you here. She walked you onto that stage. She walked you to this point. You've got to honor her for that. You have got to appreciate that she did not stop right there and fall right there, but she kept moving. The tenacity, the prayers, the godliness, the determination to move forward. How can you not honor a 13-year-old like that? Or a 7-year-old, or a woman who went through that type of public divorce, or I'm talking about
Yeah.
anybody.
Mm-hmm.
And so you have to stop, you have to pause and see when life and things have turned on you, but it has brought you to this place. You've got to go back and say, I love you and thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I love you. Hold them. Look into their eyes. Thank you.
I feel like that portion of it is going to, if this podcast is going to be what someone replays and helps to deliver them from the bondage of shame, of fear, of the future.
Yes.
Um, so thank you.